G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This will be my Knackers Yard. I'm slightly annoyed because I've started. I thought I was filming and I wasn't, so I've had to do my intro again. We're back on the CB250 SuperDream. I've got it chocked up on the bench. Now I need enough space to fit the cam tensioner wrong cam guide through and beyond. Now rather than keep jacking it up really high, I've jacked it up a little bit and I've sawn a hole in my bench. It's a pallet bench, it's not a problem. It just gives me, it makes doing this a little bit easier without it being up here, and I struggle with heights because I did deliberately make it a bit high in the first place. I've got the selector drum in, and it actually moves now, which is unusual. It moves so well, it just spat its bearing out. Oh, you're going to be a bitch to get back in. No, you're not. Good girl, well done. Yeah, it moves. I have a selector drum that might actually select, which is nice. And yeah, look at that. I am being overly generous with my assembly lube. I was going to say construction lube then. Purely and simply, I have no idea how much to use, so I'm putting, you know, more than enough on. Now the casing's clean but not clean. It's certainly cleaner. I know some people are going to say, why didn't you get it all blasted and soda blasted and yada yada yada. You know, when it comes down to it, it's a SuperDream. I am learning on a slightly crappy old bike, and if at the end result is less crappy and works, then I consider that to be a success. Because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm working my way through the owner's manual. Gear selector, lubricate the drum and the bearings, slide it into position in the casing, position with a forward gear selector so that the guide pin engages with a central track. So forward, central, done. Job's a fish. Fit the forks. Now I didn't take these out because I couldn't. I did slightly damage one trying to get it out. I'm just going to chuck a bit more assembly lube on the arms, but they seem pretty good. Gearbox components next. I'm going to see if I can get you in a decent position so you can see, which is probably dangling you from above. Right, that's got you balanced up there. Gearbox components. Right, let's get the two elements. Let's grab the main shaft, which is still bagged up down here. I say bagged up, it's not labelled as to which is which was a bit silly. Picked up the wrong fucking one. They're sealed bags. Roll with me here, people. Right, we're roughly on. I have lubed the housings. I'm on the tooth. Like I say, no idea how much assembly lube to use, so I'm going to use too much. Sure one of you guys will correct me. I'm sure several of you guys will correct me. Oh wow. Keeping an eye on the time because, as ever, I have dad duties. Right. Does it say do both, or does it say just do the one? It's all spinning nice and clear, which is nice. I'm on the right cog in there. Does it just say do the one, or does it say do the two? Hang on. I don't see why not. Let's do it. Yeah. So again, all pretty clean. A little bit of schmeg. Nothing that I'm worried about. Let's just dump her there for the moment. Like I say, I have blown through all of this. I don't know why I'm leaving that. That doesn't move. Never mind. There we go. I'm just spreading that assembly lube around a little bit. Right, so the holes, if you like, the grooves in the selector drum will only go in one place to get the forks in the right place to drop this in. Now, I've not pissed around with the order of the actual shafts themselves. They are fine, they are clean. Job is a fish, as they say. I'm assuming that's me in neutral there, but we'll see. Right, done. Perfect timing. I need to go and pick up Sprog from a club. Right, and I'm back from club pickup. I've got my lunch. Can't beat Wenzel's. Just think Greg's, but posher. I had a think while I was on a walk. I don't know if you can actually see. So I'm now in neutral because it's not engaging the drive, but I can now change gears. It's quite hard because there's not a lot to grab hold of, but I can now. I could a second ago. There we go. There we go. I'm now in first, second. Back into neutral. Sweet. No grinding, no groaning. I seem to have a relatively happy gear selector. But more importantly, it moves, which is something it didn't do before. Right, I'm going to read up on this while I eat my lunch, and then I'll drop you back in. Just while I'm chewing and your man is really going to town on his garden. Let's see the little mark on the actual guide there, on the bearings. See, that's not spinning now. There's a tiny dowel underneath that's caught it, and ditto, I can't really show you on the rubber side on the other side as well. So a little mark on the side means it's not spinning because it's caught on that dowel, which is good. It does say so in the book. I couldn't quite work it out, and it wasn't until I was chewing away on my lunch that I've worked it out. Right, speaking of which, more to do. Right, lunch done, pretty much. I've added some more assembly lube. I've gone into all the bearings, etc. I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. I've probably overdone it now, frankly. Now moving into chapter 41, engine reassembly, replacing the cam chain guides and the main bearing support casing. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling slightly with this. I've had a few reads and it doesn't seem to make a great deal of sense, but I thought if I do it chunk by chunk, we'll see how we go. Slide the tensioner into position of the casing, so it projects the lower end into the recess of the casing. There we go. Tensioner blade. Okay, it's about the 18th time I've done that, so I'm over the hole in my bench. in, it's bending that way, i.e. the bow faces toward the front of the engine, front here. Checking the guide. Easier said than done. Where have I put it? I've buried it somewhere. There we go. With the one bolt. So I was struggling to make sense of how this went before I had all this back in. I'm still struggling. Hang on. Yeah, that's not the way I had it in earlier when I was experimenting. So it's important to do these things in the right order. Check that the oil feed orifices. Yeah, I'll get onto that in a second. Right. So there's no torque setting for this. So a setting of tweet. It's into aluminium, so I don't want to take the piss. And that's quite a bit of that's better. It just spun a little bit as I was installing it there. There we go. Job's a fish. So we're in. Does everything still move? Yes. Happy. Shells, that was the word I was looking for earlier. And it was utterly eluding me. Right. The oil feed jet. Now if I can do this with my fingers. There we go. I have had all these out, given them a blow through and chucked them back in, and obviously blown through the orifice, but that's the oil feed. All is good. Right. To ensure the engine balance is maintained, the balance weights must be timed in relation to the crankshaft. This is done by aligning the marks on the two weights and the crankshaft with various mating surfaces on the crankcase half. Rotate the crankshaft so that the B mark on the extreme left-hand crank, I'm assuming that's left from the back, so this one, so the B is aligned with the mating surface of the crankshaft half towards the rear. So I need I'm not sure you're going to be able to see. Let me move you. Right, there we go. Consider yourself moved. So I've got B's there. I think I'm supposed to, there's a mark on the third one, but get the B's so they are level with the crankcase. That's level. Yeah. Right, on the front one, there's a mark there. Can't be asked to move you again. So I'll try and take a photo of it instead. And drop that in. The bit that confuses me is it's talking about meshing this one so it does the same. Now, sorry, the rear balance weight, so that does the same. Now the issue I have is there's nothing to hang it in because the main bearing support casing is not attached. That's there, that goes through there. Try and line up. No, it's that way round. So what am I doing? Balancing it in the air to do it? Idiot child. Yes, it is. Just hang it loose, approximately in the correct position. Idiot boy. Right, that approach wasn't working, so took a deep breath, walked away for a couple of minutes, spun it around the other way. So I now have TC mark on the edge there, the B mark on the casing as near as, damn it, and that is level to the, let me see if I can get oh, it is the marks, not the cutouts. So you can see that doesn't follow that line, for example, so, which was confusing me for a little while. Did give it a dip, one forward and one back, but that's as good as I can go. Right, let's get you set back up and I'll try and drop this lid on. It does all say rough in the book. Before I coat that, I can't get to it anymore. Oh, hello Bob. That's my, fuck's sake. That's Bob, my magpie. A daft idea lubing the back of a chain, but hey, why the hell not? Right. Right, so we're on mostly jobs are good. Just needed to just slid over a little bit. Right, so we're on. Hold on. Next. Pointing in the right direction might be a good idea. Right, see the shaft in. Suck it and see. Why have I always got this facing the awkward fucking way? It's a talent. Right, so we're in. It's temporarily supported. Oh, that's bang on. So I've got a nice straight line from the bottom of the casing through the marker. Might have been worth the time then to get it right. Because by fuck that took a while. Right. So I'm happy that is in the right position. Right, I'm having battery issues because this has taken longer than I thought. So I'm in and torqued on the 6. Next stage is to put the oil filter in, so it's the long bolt through that actually is the goes through the rear balance piece, so that's fine. 100% honest with you, as I routinely am. I did have to undo it to then fit the tensioner back in, so I had to undo the 6, lift it all up, slide that tensioner in underneath, and then bolt it back down through the bolts on the oil filter, which is now lovely and clean. Right, I'm going to stick this camera on charge, read through what the fuck I need to do next. Right, a bit of charge, a bit of checking that everything's turning fine. I've not snagged any chains. Life is looking pretty good. This has not snagged any chains, that just stopped to turn then. Oh, that's caught in my hole. Caught in my hole on the bench, so I think we're looking good. So, a little bit of gasket seal around the edge. Prudent to lubricate the bearings good point, well presented. Although that's a mating surface rather than a bearing. What are you doing? I've done all the lube I need to do. And all the bearings that I need to do are all quite fresh. So I've done all that. Right, calm down on the lube, young man, as the actress said to the bishop. Right. Now what I should have done is replace that gasket, the figure of 8 gasket, but I didn't get one in the kit, so I haven't. No, fucking no. Right. Are we there or thereabouts? Seems to be happier on one side than the other. And we're there. Not pinched anything. Now I've got my bolts set up the back, so I'm not doing this completely blind. So I've got to start somewhere. Start with the 3 at the back. I'm literally going to drop them in for the moment to see if I've got them in anything like the right place. So I'm following the pattern of my map. Right. So I'm just going to use an electric on like the lowest possible torque setting. I don't want to tighten them up with it. I just want to push them down as much as anything else. Every time. Right, I'm going to go for a pee and then break out my torque wrench. Right, bolts all in and torqued. Let's get this oil filter on. So this is a new bolt. For those that remember the fucking arseache I was having with its predecessor of trying to get it out, it was thoroughly wrecked in there. A couple of you guys have mentioned saying, is the hex bigger on the replacement? I think it probably is. Let's do the original. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it definitely is. That's a bad mould. Nah, 12 mil. That's, I think, a 16. He says with his less than Del Boy-esque capability of judging bolts. Ooh, it's bigger than that. $17. Ooh. I don't know why I made that noise. I do know why. I've got my headphones on and I am listening to Bottom Live with Ade Edmondson and Rick Mail, and I'm laughing my tits off. It's just so puerile. It's brilliant. And the reason I've got my headphones on is when I'm in the garage listening to stuff, my wife routinely points out that the well can hear me because I have it on a speaker, and she tells me off. Doesn't seem too happy. Why do you not seem happy? No, you're happy. Bit of crud in the top, that's all. Right through. Spring filter. A little bit of oil around the new seal that's on there as well. Put put it on so it fits your nugget. There we go, that's one. Now what I really need to do with this is leather on it so no fucker's ever going to get it off again. Because that's what the last person that did this did. Fine, it's only crushing that washer. It's a 17 mil as opposed to a 12 mil. It's like they knew the old one was shit. Let's just go for a bit of a spin because I've got one more thing to show you today. Now, you may remember the issues that I was having trying to remove said element. I couldn't. I've tried taking it apart. I mean, it works. Fundamentally it works. I've tried to take it apart, but there is nothing that isn't completely stuck on that. So I got lucky, put in a low bid on eBay and got a replacement that's in, you know, fairly good nick. Again, not perfect, don't need perfect. I should probably get a new O-ring to put on it, but I haven't got one. I have chucked some power through to test that it works. It's fine. But my final act of today will be just dropping this on. And that will do me. Both the same, that's good. Those cogs to mesh together. Drop these on, and then that's me for the day. I think my final act will be turning this the right way up, chucking it on the bench, doing your moron, and chucking it on the bench. Slow talk again. Ta-da! Yeah, okay, I didn't film. And we're together. We want to be together. Now, I can't really do a great deal more because my cylinder head isn't done yet. With my new pistons and new, well, pretty much everything. A little bit of extra sealant, but hey, gasket seal. I can do more, and I will do more because the next bit in the chapter is putting together all the gears and everything else, and I do need to clean up the sides, so it's not as if I'm going to be sat around doing that all. Gear casings, I've got clutch casings, and all of that to do long before I start getting too involved with too much stuff. I didn't clean those off. Bollocks, it'll be fine. Yeah. Feels weird putting it back together. I've got less shit on my floor, which is nice. Temporary, but nice. Yeah, we're getting there, people. We are getting there. I've even got a starter motor on the front. It doesn't look in too bad nick. Yeah, so next, what am I going to do next? I don't know. What's the book tell me I'm doing next? Oil filter and starter motor, done. Gear change and kickstart. Well, I haven't got a kickstart, so it'll be gear change next. I won't be messing around with the clutch just yet. because I've got plates or anything like that. But ooh, doesn't that sound good? Yeah, so we shall be playing with the gears and the likes. It is going to get a little bit confusing because a lot of the instructions are for a kickstart, and this doesn't have one, and has never had one. I could potentially put one on, but I'd have to get a new side casing, or at least drill the one I've got, and I don't really want to go through that rigmarole. So that'll do me, and I'll catch you later on. Ta-da! What's that, monkey?